Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about the evolution of knowledge and consciousness. This is a very important thing to talk about because we we know that there is certainly kind of an evolution that happens in our physical bodies. That is, our physical bodies adapt to certain parameters that are that Richard Dawkins in his book The Selfish Gene talks about this, and he says that the parameter on the basis of which evolution happens is the spreading of genes. That is, the genes utilize this organism, um, any organism, and try to spread themselves as much as possible. This is the sole parameter that the genes have. Before, it was thought that the genes would do it for the welfare of their own type of genes, but that is why Dawkins has made the title of the book the selfish gene, in the sense that the gene always wants to spread itself. This is only when you are connected to the physical body, because the natural desire of man is very it depends on what kind of inclinations a person has. Dawkins does not consider man as consciousness first and animal second, consciousness first and body second. The yogis of India and many of the Eastern traditions have tried to overcome this nature of spreading your genes. They have overcome by not indulging in sexual activity, not indulging in talking a lot. Again, talking a lot can also kind of spread your ideology, which is also another form of the lower desire. Talking a lot can also spread this ideology, and there is certainly a desire of a lower kind, not still a higher kind, but it's still lower in the sense that it is still something that is hard to get over, that is hard to get under control. And hence, a lot of yogis have tried to overcome this innate desire of bodily nature. And when you overcome these desires, when you overcome this natural tendency of man to go and follow his animalistic desire, you gain in consciousness. You kind of evolve in consciousness. We evolve in knowledge. We evolve in feelings and emotions. Now, if we consider this question that has the subjective experience of man somehow evolved, has the feelings somehow evolved, have the mind and the ability to do reason and ability to talk evolved. It has certainly evolved over time. Now more than ever, man is more reliable on his mental capacity, and this can also be seen in the development of the prefrontal cortex as it's getting bigger, and the gray matter in the brain is also evolving over time. So, regardless of the physical changes that happen, I want to consider, since since a lot of people in the East, a lot of sages and a lot of prophets have also considered that the experience of this world is consciousness first, that the soul and consciousness comes before all the physical material manifestation of this consciousness. Considering this viewpoint, of course there are changes the in the physical matter that we can observe and interact with, but there are also changes in the subjective feelings, in the feelings of the heart. the feelings and the thought structure of man. How has knowledge evolved? How has our approach to certain problems evolved? How we are in this kind of a revolution of technology and knowledge. But when we overcome these lower tendencies to overcome these lower desires, these lower tendencies of spreading, or these lower tendencies of conforming to the basic needs of the body. When we move forward and when we move higher in consciousness, we kind of gain different kinds of feelings like compassion, like forgiveness. Now, the experience of anger, the experience of resentment, and the experience of violence is very, very bad in the sense that when a person is angry, he is hurting himself, literally hurting himself, and this can also be seen in the changes that the physical body goes through when a person is under anger. Now, when we now this this state of anger, or this state of resentment, or this state of looking down upon people is kind of a state of hell. It is a state where you are in turmoil, where you are in conflict with yourselves and with the world, where it is not a natural state to be in. Of course, there is a way to channel this anger, but you will have to be evolved in consciousness in order to do that. So, when you evolve in consciousness, your anger turns into forgiveness, your resentment will turn into forgiveness and compassion. Looking at people who are hurting you in some form are, are basically hurting themselves because they will suffer for the consequences, because the universe is not exempt from the laws of karma. It is Nobody is exempt from the laws of karma, and their actions will eventually have consequences. So even if people are emotionally hurting you, you are compassionate towards them, you are forgiving towards them, and you have this experience of compassion and forgiveness, which is much more higher, and it is a much more peaceful and loving experience than anger or resentment or jealousy. So a person who's constantly experiencing these feelings is higher in consciousness. He's higher in He has overcome the natural desires, the natural tendencies of the body to to reject in anger, or to react in a very envious manner. He has overcome this after a long practice over himself, and he has gained himself in consciousness. And when a person evolves more and more in consciousness, he is able to gain and can control over his mind, is able to direct his concentration, he is able to be be heartful, in the sense that he is able to be in control of his feelings and emotions. And this path of constantly evolving in consciousness is the spiritual path. This does not mean that you somehow keep doing a certain practice and expect your consciousness to evolve. It is being in life, being okay, and being in life, dealing with the problems that you have, dealing with the problems that your family has, dealing with the relationships that you have, and actually facing them to evolve yourself in consciousness, because only in dealing with these problems you will be able to overcome and see the the real nature inside you, the darkness that is inside you. And when you face it, you can work with it. You can understand where you are, where the work need to be done. And from that you will learn and evolve. And over time you'll, you will see that benefit is very natural to you. Wherever you go, that is benefit because you are intelligent and you are in control of your mind. You're in control of your feelings, even if a person is trying to cheat you in a business relationship, even if they are trying to uh, do some political game and try to deceive you. You see his or her act, you acknowledge it, and then you forgive them and deal with them with a kind of a overarching uh, wisdom to it. You say things in a manner is, that is more peace-giving, that is more loving and kind, and you are able to resolve these issues and these problems with others and with other relationships in a manner of ease. And you will naturally feel this elatedness in yourself. You will feel as if you are becoming the sky. You are becoming his. There is a certain openness in your life, and somehow the anger and the resentment that was previously there for you is resolving itself, and it is becoming lesser and lesser, and you see that love is becoming your inherent nature. So consciousness evolution is something that we don't really look at, and evolving in consciousness means being more than a human being, being more than your animalistic self, being more than being overcoming this selfish gene and having compassion for others, having having kind of a forgiveness attitude towards others, which is completely against the natural tendency of the gene to spread itself, whether by violence or whether by ludicristic ideologies. Hence, evolution of consciousness is something that we all should work upon and try to evolve ourselves subjectively throughout this life.